All right, Keegan, would you mind telling me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm a business student at Utah Valley University. My goal is to graduate with an MBA because I would like to own my own business someday. I have some small business experience, am a creative thinker, and have leadership and managerial training. I also really enjoy working with and learning from other people, so I think I'd be a great fit for this position.
That's awesome. I like to hear that, Keegan. What does business ownership mean to you? And do you have any examples or any roles that you have in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that the principle of ownership is really closely related with stewardship. To be a steward of someone or something means to take full responsibility for it. Remember my first job at Cutler Construction, there were times when I really wanted to do well. So I took full responsibility and made sure that what I was assigned was completed. There were other times when I didn't care so much about the contract. So I went to work and I went home. I didn't care about what I was doing, and it ended up with me turning in subpar work.
Okay, that sounds good. Describe a time when you feel elevated because of the level of value that you brought to a customer over time, and how did you accomplish that?
Yeah. So during my time at America First Credit Union, we were taught to make each member feel special. I remember there was a particular woman who came in often. I noticed her and I made an effort to get to know her and what was going on in her life. Soon after, she told me that she looked forward to coming into the bank each day so she could talk to all of us about how she was doing because she felt like we actually cared about her.
It's good to hear. Do you have any examples, like when you had customers that were not pleased with something that you did or that your team did? What was the situation and how did you recover?
Yeah, once again, while I was at America First, a member requested that we do a specific transaction in her account. And due to a technological error, the transaction was posted incorrectly. When the member found out, she was frustrated. And so she actually called into the branch and asked to speak with me. The best I could do was tell her that I was sorry, offer to fix it, and then explain that I'd done what I thought was correct, but that I would improve in the future.
Okay. Was there a time where you were able to directly attribute your probing skills to solve a problem with a difficult customer?
Yeah. I remember in particular once a member came into our branch and we informed him that we would be needing to place one of his checks on hold for 5 days. And he, once again, became very frustrated, and reasonably so, it's his money. So I just simply asked, "Sir, can you explain to me what you were thinking? Why should we do this?" And with his help, we were able to locate viable proof to verify his check and get him what he wanted.
What is your level of competitiveness? And can you tell me about a situation where your competitiveness helped you achieve better results than your peers?
Yeah. So I'm semi-competitive in the sense that I want to do better than others, but I don't want them to feel inferior about themselves because of it. I remember that me and my manager at Cutler Construction would race to see who could complete tasks quicker. And what I found was that while we were trying to prove our worth, we inadvertently made each other work harder.
Okay. Every sales organization subscribes to a certain sales model. Describe for me your most recent sales model. What do you feel is the most important step in the sales model, and what is the least important?
So my most recent sales model is based upon the idea that people don't know, they don't do. So for example, if I didn't know that Wendy's offers Frosties, I would never get ice cream from Wendy's. They're a burger place. The benefit of this is that instead of people feeling like you're trying to sell them on something, they feel like you're actually making them aware of a product they should be using. The key to this is to speak up and inform them. And I really honestly feel that the most important part of this is the least important part is whether or not they accepted the offer. Because it was based upon a relationship of education rather than profit for the company.
What was the most useful criticism you ever received from an immediate supervisor, and how did you embrace this feedback and achieve a positive outcome?
Yeah, so my first job, like I said before, was working for Cutler Construction. And I remember calling in sick one day and trying to tell my supervisor how terrible I felt. This man was a mentor of mine and much more of a father than an employer. He never actually said anything, but I knew that he knew that I was lying. From that time forth, I was always completely honest with him about my request for time off and all aspects of my work with him.
Okay, sounds good. What do you feel you have to offer above the average employee when it comes to accomplishing your daily responsibilities and goals? Can you share a specific example?
Yeah. So I feel like I have a very strong moral compass. Every time I make a decision, I think about how my actions are going to affect my integrity. Once, while I was working at America First, I was told to never ever force balance. Every night we have to balance our drawers to make sure that we completed all of our transactions correctly. Force balancing, however, is when somebody takes their own money and uses it to balance their drawer, meaning that they messed up on it. And this was one of the most common reasons that employees were terminated at America First, was because they force balanced. They tried to fake it. And I can say with perfect honesty that I have never once force balanced in my drawer, and I would say that that's a pretty basic principle across the board with me.
Can you give an example of a time when you successfully persuaded your peers to change their minds and follow your recommendations? What was the specific situation and result?
Mm-hmm. So I served as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. During that time, I would attend several leadership meetings, and often these meetings were filled with many opinions on how missionary work should be done. During one meeting, we discovered that many missionaries were listening to pirated music. They would share files between themselves, and that wasn't okay. Many of those missionaries were actually in the leadership meetings that I was in as well. And I, along with several others, made a proposal that we as an entire mission would delete the pirated music and commit to honesty and integrity. And at that moment, myself, along with 25 other missionaries, pulled out our phones and we deleted our pirated music.
Okay. Can you tell me about a time when you identified a new, unusual, or different approach for addressing a problem or task? How did you come to this solution, and what was the outcome?
Absolutely. Once again, while I was serving as a missionary, I was a Spanish-speaking teacher, and I found that we could waste an entire day knocking on in random neighborhoods to try and find Hispanic people. Or we could learn from the Hispanics that we did know about finding where to go and how their culture would affect what we should do and say. When we followed their instruction, we found that the missionaries were welcome in almost every single home.
All right. Thank you so much, Keegan. We're grateful to have you come in today.
Absolutely.
Do you have any last questions for me?
Yeah, so I am still a student. I'm at college. How do you guys do with working with student schedules?
Our student schedules, were very good at working with students and working with their hours. We are more than willing to accommodate with you. Just let us know your times and we can work it out with you.
Great, that sounds awesome. Once again, I just want to affirm how much this opportunity means to me, and I would love to work with you. Thank you.